So we all know that the world is constantly changing, but there are things that always stay consistent to help your business survive and thrive. Here are 4 things you must do to help your startup survive. Number 1, you have to take affordable steps. Rome wasn't built in a day. Every overnight success actually took 15 years, and you don't know everything when you're getting into the business, or even when you are in the business. That's why slow and steady growth always wins. A lot of people want to have a shortcut or cut things out, or they just think, I'm going to gather as much money as I can. I'm going to leverage everything. And day one, they have not sold anything, but yet they've invested all their money. Now, while they're figuring out all their mistakes, they're chewing into that money. And then all of a sudden they turn around and they have 7 years worth of bad credit. They lost all their friends. They spent a lot of time, but now they're really smart, but the education costs them more. Remember, a true entrepreneur takes 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I love using the gambling reference. I like to say, don't go to Vegas if you've never played blackjack and start off at the blackjack table with $1,000 a hand. What do you think is gonna happen? Well, but if you go to Vegas and you play $1,001 hands, what do you think the outcome is going to be? You're going to learn, you're going to be able to grow, you're going to realize if this is something for you, if this is something that you don't want to do, but no matter what, you will not lose a fortune, you will lose only a little. You know, I closed FUBU down 3 times from 89 to 92, but many may say, well, you closed it down. I say, I restarted it 3 times. Why? Because I only ran out of $500. I could then restart it with another $500, restart it with another $1,000. So remember, take affordable steps, whether it's in your education. You don't need to necessarily go to a big business school and spend 4 years if you just want to get a quick curriculum, or go and intern someplace, or do whatever the case is, or whether it's with your cash, or whether it's with growing your staff. Don't hire 10 people at the same time. Make sure you hire 1, and then all of a sudden you get to learn from each other, and then hire 2, and then 4, and then 6 and 8. So next one, you got to practice the power of broke. It's just like affordable steps. What are you doing with the power of broke? You're using OPM. I know you think OPM is other people's money. No, it's not. It's other people's marketing, other people's manufacturing, other people's mind power. Also, you learn off other people's mistakes, other people's mentors. You see, you have a specific skill that nobody else has like you, and does it your way. And you have to tap into that person. That's the power of broke, saying, I don't know if I have money, I don't know if I have friends, I don't know if I have this, but you know what? I'm really smart at this, or I'm really passionate at this, or I look like this, or I look like that, or I'm really fit, or I'm really good cook, or you know what? I'm a magnet and people want to laugh when they're around me. Right? You take that skill set over to somebody else, because that's the power of broke to you, right? You are going to add value to somebody else. Maybe you come over to a Daymond John. Daymond John is dyslexic. So I don't like to look at details. I like to look at the details when it comes to numbers, but I don't like to look at details when it comes to contracts or reading or anything. So I brush over them. I make a lot of mistakes, but you love to pay attention to detail. So maybe you say, Daymond, you know what? I want to be somebody who's maybe your CPA, or maybe your attorney, or whatever the case. And I have a current business. I'm a practicing attorney. But you know what? I want to get into the entrepreneurial space. So I'm going to donate some of my time to you, Mr. Daymond John. And I'm talking about Daymond John back in 89, 92, 96, right? Some of the wealthiest people in the world started off at Facebook as interns when they were just fledgling. So your power broke may be that. Your power broke may be the fact that you know how to cook. Your power broke may be the fact that you're a little young boy named Daymond John who grew up as an only child. So I learned to want to have people around me, and I never judged them for what they did bad, but I worked on what they did good and said, how can you add value to my life and I add value to your life? That's the power of broke. I took 10 t-shirts, literally 10 t-shirts, for 2 years, because that's all I had was those 10 t-shirts and that money to make those 10 t-shirts with this name called FUBU on it. And I went to every video set I could. And I went to 40 video sets in those 2 years. And out of those 40 video sets, I got those 10 t-shirts on 10 different video people, in just 10 videos. One was a dancer, one was a rapper, and I would take them back afterwards and take them to another video set. So I got kicked off of 30 video sets, but the 10 made my brand a nationally recognized brand because those videos kept playing. And guess what? All I had was 10 t-shirts and I was a waiter at Red Lobster. That's the power of broke. Number 3, you gotta innovate. You ever hear on Shark Tank we say, oh, this is a Me Too product. What does that mean? That means you're making it Me Too. All right, so there's 2 ways to think about that. I understand you're not going to create anything new in this world, but the innovation may come in your messaging. It may come in the fact that you're selling it to a new consumer. Maybe the fact that you're making it lighter and faster. I didn't innovate the t-shirt. I innovated the messaging on the t-shirt, the community it was being sold to. So you have to find ways to innovate. There's nothing in the world that's actually new. It's just a new form of delivery. I put an ad in the New York Times that said $1 million in order, need financing. And 33 people called. Today that would be called crowdfunding. It was just an ad in the New York Times. It's just a form of innovation of old products. The best-selling product in Shark Tank history is a sock. It's a sock company called Bombas. But what did they do? They innovated the sock. Why? Well, they took the seam out of the toe where it doesn't get up under your toenail, but more importantly, every sock that they sell, pair of socks they sell, they give away a pair to the homeless because they know that the homeless has a big challenge. They're innovating because it's a social cause. And people, when they buy the socks, they buy it and they feel like they are part of changing the world and making the world a better place. They're proud of the company and they're proud of themselves. It's innovation in the mind. It's innovation. Number 4, communicate and engage with your customers and your employees. You know, you think your customers are the people outside. Your customers are your employees too. They're sitting there and they're getting behind you for a reason. If you don't communicate internally, and that's what they call your culture, right? Internally with your employees. And your employees may be just you. It may be just one other person. Out of the 30 million small businesses in America, 22 million of them are one-man mom and pop shops. But you have to communicate with yourself too. You got to get up in the mirror in the morning and say, here's my why. Here's where I draw the line. This is what I'm willing to put in. This is why I add value to the world, and this is why I add value to my end of the day customers. Then you talk to your customers, and that's your brand. You see, your communication inside the company is your culture. The communication outside to the world is your brand. What are you promising them? Me? When you bought Fubu, I promised you a part of a culture of really cool people. People that started off with this music in the South Bronx and then moved to Queens and then moved to California and every place else. I promise that I'm going to give you quality. I promise that when you see somebody across the street, you wearing something very similar from the same company, you knew what they were into. That is exactly what you do when you communicate with number 1, your employees, and then also communicate with the people you are selling to. Now, if you want to learn more about how to thrive in this era and about the power of communication with your business, well, I have a free webinar available for you. Wishing you all the best.